Good morning, guys. In the previous classes, we completed several tools as part of our syllabus. First one is Maven. Maven we used as a build tool, which is used to automate the build process for Java applications. Okay. Then after we discussed about GitHub. GitHub is a version control software that is used to integrate all the source code at one place. In our project, multiple developers will be there. All the developers code should be integrated at one place, and we need to monitor that code. What are the changes that are happening to the code? So for that, we are using GitHub repositories. Some companies are going with the GitHub repositories, and some companies are going with the Bitbucket repositories. Then after we discussed about software development lifecycle, what are the stages that are involved in the project development process, and what is waterfall methodology and what is agile methodology that we have discussed. And in the agile methodology, we learned about agile terminology, what is the scrum, what is the sprint, what is backlog grooming, what is retrospective, what is story points, story status, all that stuff. Then we discussed about Jira tool. Jira is one commercial tool from Atlassian company. Bitbucket and Jira, both tools are developed by Atlassian company. In Jira, we are using as a project management software in the company. So the project work, project stories, project tasks, project sprint, everything we will manage through Jira. Companies will use licensed version of Jira. We are using trial version of Jira for the practice. All right. So with this, we are done with these tools as of now. And there are so many other tools also that we are going to learn in the upcoming classes. Then after that, we thought that we are going to start mini projects development. As we already discussed in the previous class, we are going to develop mini projects. 2 mini projects I'm going to develop in the class, and 1 mini project I will give you as a task. Okay, mini projects development. So these mini projects development are simple applications only. It's not a complex application, but these mini projects are going to help us to analyze the given requirements. They will help you to improve your analysis skills. They will help you to improve your coding skills, and they will help you to become independent programmer. They are used to understand the real-time development process as a developer, how we will work in the companies. And we are going to get the practical knowledge on SDLC phases when we go for this mini projects development. So the mini projects, as we discussed already in the previous class, approach 1. First, the trainer should explain the project, then students will do. That is, every other institute is going to follow the same process. First, a trainer will do the coding in the class, then students will see that code, will take that code and will execute. But in our project course, I'm not going to follow the approach 1. I'm going to follow the approach 2. When I go for the approach 2, first I will give the chance for the students to do the analysis and to do the coding. Once you have done your analysis and coding, then I will explain my analysis and my coding so that you can compare the difference between, you can identify the difference between your implementation and my implementation. You can understand the difference between your implementation and my implementation. So if you go for approach 1, then you will not get any benefit. You will not become good programmer. Your coding skills will not be improved, because today I will do the coding, you will see that, and you will do the copy paste. But tomorrow, once you join in the company, nobody will do the code for you. You have to develop the code on your own for the given requirement. So initially it is little difficult, but no problem. We are going to do 2 mini projects and 3 mini projects. Basically 2 I will do in the class. 1 I will give you as an assignment. And 1 major project development also will be done 50-50. We will share it. In the major project, some modules I'm going to develop, some modules you need to develop. So first you need to try. If you fail, no issue. You may get some doubts. Initially, you may not be able to do it. I will explain you how to do that as well in the class. All right. So the main agenda, guys, don't do any copy paste. Don't take my code. Okay. So try that on your own so that you will understand what is your coding standards, what is your capability to develop the code. So I request all of you to spend some time to start the analysis part and start the coding part. So initially it may be difficult, but going forward, you will see lot of difference. You will see lot of difference. Good. Now, in the last 2 days, the class has not happened. So that's the reason I have given some videos. Anybody who is new to the Spring Boot, for them, I have given one crash course on the Spring Boot. And I have given some Eclipse shortcuts, which are going to help you to improve your productivity. You can do more work in the less time, but in the IDE by using these shortcuts. And as a developer, we should know how to debug our application to understand execution flow and to understand mistakes available in the application. Anybody get the chance to go through the videos I have given in the previous class? Anybody get the chance to go through these videos I have shared? Are those videos useful for you? Is it worth watching? Is there any use with those videos, guys? Is it worth watching those videos? Is there any benefit? Yes. Yes. Very good. Perfect, guys. Good. Fine. Now, let's start with our mini projects development. So I'm going to take our first mini project. Guys, this first mini project is very, very simple and very basic project I'm going to take. This is user accounts management. Our first mini project is related to user accounts management. So user accounts management means creating the user record. Just it's basically CRUD operations project. Sir, we know already how to perform the CRUD operations. Why we are going to discuss same thing? Some people know, some people don't know. So in the first project itself, I don't want to confuse you people. I don't want to feel you that the coding is difficult. No, I don't want to do that. I want to start with very simple project. In the second project, I will increase the complexity. Okay, so we are going to start with our first mini project, user accounts management. Right. So I have already prepared FDD document for that project, guys, and I have given. It is simple. Create account. You need to design one page like this, which will contain name, email ID, mobile number, gender, date of birth, and SSN. For date of birth, we are having a calendar, and SSN nothing but, which is social security number. We will have Aadhaar card. Foreign people will have SSN. SSN stands for social security number. Then click on submit. Click on submit button. So whenever you click on that submit button, we can see the records which are available. So you can say that create account. Whenever you click on submit button, you will display a success message. User account is created successfully. Here we will give one link, view users. When you go for view accounts, then the user records should be displayed in the table format, which contains edit option. When I click on this edit option, the record should come to the editable mode and we should be able to update the record. Here I have given one option called delete. When I click on the delete, this is a hard delete. That record should be deleted permanently in the database. And there is another option called activate, deactivate option is available. Activate, deactivate nothing but making the record as inactive. That is called soft delete. I want to implement both hard delete functionality and soft delete functionality. Hard delete functionality nothing but deleting the record permanently from the database. Deleting the record permanently from the database is called as hard delete. Then what is soft delete? Soft delete means just we are going to make the record as inactive record. We are going to make the record as inactive record. So if the record is already active, then it will display inactive button. If the record is already inactive, it will display activate button. So the reverse status should be displayed in the action column to activate, deactivate the account. Delete means it is permanently delete from the database table. Edit means the record should come to editable mode and we should be able to update that record. So creating the user accounts, displaying the user accounts, edit and update the user account, delete the user account, and activate, deactivate the user account. So this is our requirement for first project. For this requirement, I have prepared FDD document also, a basic FDD document, and I have uploaded into our portal. So if you go to 24 JRTP course, once you log in, I have given 01 mini project FDD. So when you click on this FDD document, you can see that the PDF file is going to open. So this PDF file, we are going to call it as FDD document. We are calling this as FDD document. Develop a Spring Boot web application with below functionalities. So we need to create the user, we need to display the users, we need to edit and update the user, and we need to delete that user and activate and inactivate or deactivate the user, right? So we need to develop this project by using Java 17 with the Spring Boot 3.x. For the presentation, we are going to use Timeleaf, okay? Bootstrap we are using for making our UI pages more beautiful. And for the database purpose, we are going to use H2DB. H2DB is a in-memory. H2DB is a in-memory database. So here, in-memory database, nothing but it is a temporary database that is just used for practice purpose, right? So just to develop one application with the database functionalities, we are going to use H2DB. So we need to develop one Spring Boot application with these functionalities. And in that application, we need to use this tech stack. Okay. So this is the screen that I have given. Create user account screen. What are the fields, the look and feel, and display user accounts. So display the users, edit, delete, and activate, inactivate buttons are available. Now, so this is the requirement document. I want you people to go through this requirement document. I have already updated in the website. You can download this document and you can read the document. It's very simple. Just 2 pages are available with CRUD operations only. Now, we need to develop this application by using layered architecture. So what is the meaning of layered architecture? So UI will be available, controllers will be available, okay, service layer will be available, and DAO layer will be available. Web layer, service layer, and DAO layer will be available, and database will be available. Database is used to store the data, and here DAO layer. In the Spring Boot, we are going to use repository concept to develop persistence layer, DAO or persistence layer that is responsible to communicate with the database. Then service layer, which contains our business logic, and web layer will be available, which contains the request and response. Presentation layer, that UI will be available. In future, we are going to learn the Angular for presentation development, but as of now, some people don't know Angular. So that's why I'm going to use a simple Timeleaf template in order to develop our first application. So the mini projects we are going to do with this Timeleaf, and for the major project UI, we are going to learn Angular, and we are going to implement major project UI by using Angular. Are you able to understand the requirement? Now, what I want you people to do is today in the class, go through the FDD. First one, read FDD doc. Read the FDD document. Design DB table. So what table, how many tables are required in order to develop this application? Design DB table. Third one, design Java classes. You just need to identify how many classes are required for this project implementation. In the classes, what all the methods are required to develop this application. So first we are starting with requirement analysis, then designing part. That means how many database tables are required, what columns are required in the database table, and to develop this application based on the given FDD, how many Java classes are required, how many Java classes are required. In the Java classes, what methods are required, what parameters we need for the methods, what return types we need to take for the methods. Okay, guys. So what parameters we need for the method, what return types we need for the method, I want you to analyze in the class itself. So it's not a homework, it is a class work. So first you read the FDD document, you design DB table. What query is required to create the table for this application? How many columns we need in the database table? And we need to design Java classes for this project. That means as per layered architecture, how many Java classes you are going to take for this project, and in the Java class, what methods you are going to take to develop this project for all the functionalities. For all the functionalities, what methods are required and what are the parameters required for the method, what are the return types required for the method. Can you guys do that? If you want, I will explain the requirement again. I want you to develop two screens in the project. One screen is used to capture the data from the user and store in the database table. Another screen is used to display the users we have inserted in the database. So for this user record, for every user record, edit option will be available, delete option will be available, activate, deactivate option will be available. Edit means which is used to edit and update the data. I want to change some phone number, I want to change email ID, mobile number, whatever. I can change the data and I can update. Then coming to delete, when I click on the delete, that record will be deleted permanently from the database. That is called hard delete. Whenever we do hard delete in the project, the data will be deleted permanently from the database. We cannot get that data back. Okay. And instead of doing the hard delete, there is another option called soft delete. Soft delete is nothing but I want to activate the record and inactivate the record or deactivate the record. Soft delete means instead of deleting the record permanently from the database, we are going to make the record as inactive. Okay. So inactivation, activate and inactivate. When I want, I can activate. When I don't want, I can deactivate the account. Like this activate, deactivate options we are giving for that. So this is my requirement. Are you guys able to understand? Now, all of you log in into our website and download the FDD document which I have shared in the website. All of you log in into the website and see, are you able to access the document? All of you able to access the document? Please confirm in the chat box, guys. Are you able to access the document? Yes, perfect. So all of you, please read the document. I'm going to give you 15 to 20 minutes of time to perform this operation. Read the FDD document, design the database table. That means you identify how many tables are required, what are the columns required in the database table, and you identify how many Java classes we need to create in the project and what are the methods we need to write in the Java class to develop this application. I don't want you to write the logic in the methods, just you write the names of the methods with the method signatures I want, that's it. Suppose if you take a controller, in the controller class, how many methods we need? Suppose if you take a service, how many methods we need? What is the signature of the method to perform operations in our application? So you do it, guys, because after 20 minutes, I will explain my analysis. First, I am giving the chance for you to analyze the requirement and design the table and Java classes. If you don't design the Java classes and the database table, if you listen to my explanation directly, then you will not feel you will not understand what is your weak area, where you need to improve. So that's why first 15 to 20 minutes, I'm giving the time for you. You analyze the requirement. You just open your notepad, log in from the laptop, open your notepad. You write database table what you need. And you write what are the Java classes you need. in each Java class, what are the methods you need? What is the name of the method? What is parameter of the method? What is the return type of the method? So you write it. So after your analysis is completed, in the today itself, I will explain my analysis. So then you can compare your analysis and my analysis. Then you will understand the difference between fresher analysis and experienced person analysis. Then you can correct the mistakes whatever you have done. Do you like this approach? Do you like this approach? Come on, guys. Yeah, so let's start. For next 15 minutes, I'm not going to talk anything. For next 15 minutes, I'm not going to talk anything. You just start and write in the notepad. Everybody should do it. I will call some names. You need to show me your analysis. I will check your analysis. After checking your analysis, then I will explain my analysis. So please do it. Please do it. Because if you do it first, then if you see my analysis, you will find the gaps. You will find the gaps. So this is layered architecture diagram, which is common. Okay. So here, instead of Angular, we are going for TimeLeaf as a presentation technology. Okay. So if you want, I will share this diagram in our WhatsApp group. We have a separate WhatsApp group for 24 JTRP, right? In that WhatsApp group, I'm going to share this diagram. You can refer the diagram and you can start the analysis of our first mini project. It's very simple, dead easy LKG standard project. It is very simple, dead easy LKG standard project. But see, how many of you people able to analyze the requirement, able to design the requirement? When I explain my analysis, then you will definitely find some gaps. What is the difference between your analysis and my analysis? First, I'm giving the chance for you. Open your laptop. Don't join the classes from the mobiles, guys. Join from the laptop. Join from the laptop and open your notepad. You just note down. I'm not asking you to do any coding today. I'm not asking you to complete the project today. I'm just asking to analyze the requirement by using notepad. Just you write down in the notepad. Just you write down in the notepad. All of you started? I have shared that layered architecture diagram in our WhatsApp group. You can use it for reference purpose. Guys, all of you doing that, please confirm in the chat box. All of you doing the analysis based on the given document, you just note down. Just write in the notepad. Don't open any Eclipse. You just try to analyze the requirement, identify the table, identify the classes. I design Java classes with the required methods. That's it. On the notepad only, not in the IDE. In the notepad only, not in the IDE. It's 9:35 now. By 9:45, you have to complete. More 10 minutes of time, 10 to 15 minutes of time I will give you. Nagavardhan, FDD document already updated in the website. Please log in into our website where you will get the class notes. There only I have given the FDD document. FDD document you can access from the website. So please log in into our website with your email ID. There you can find out. So this is our website URL. In the website you can access the FDD document. Still anybody don't have the access for the FDD? Still anybody don't have the access for the FDD? Anybody don't have the access, please unmute your mic and you can speak out. I have given the option to unmute your mic. I have given the option to unmute your mic. This is create account page and this is view accounts. Screenshot also I have given in the FDD document. Do the analysis. Just take the notepad and write down. I will call some names randomly. You need to show me what analysis you have done. If you don't do the analysis before I am going to explain, then there is no use of joining the project. Because project is something like you need to do it and you have to learn from that. It's not like listening to the class when I am explaining. First, you should try. For front end not required, do that for back end. UI HTML page na, that is a basic HTML with a time leaf. You don't need to worry about that. You do the for back end. What are the classes? What are the methods? What are the tables that you need to take it? All of you completed? Last 5 minutes, guys. Last 5 minutes. Identifying the Java classes. With methods. That is very important. What methods we need to take in the class? What should be the parameter? What should be the return type? Last 5 minutes. Make it fast. Then I will start my explanation. Right, guys. So I hope you completed. Okay. Now let me tell my analysis so that you can compare your analysis and my analysis. Right. So this is the document. In this document, we see that the requirement is there, what we need to develop. So first one, when we are going to develop any application, we need to keep this architecture in our mind. So we need to follow layered architecture to develop our application. Layered architecture, nothing but multiple layers will be available in our project. UI layer, nothing but presentation will be available. Web layer that contains controllers to handle the request and response. Service layer, which contains the business logic. DAO layer, which contains persistence logic. Got it? So always we need to start the analysis from back end to front end. From right side to left side, we need to start our analysis. First one, database. So in order to store our application data, we need one database table. So here we are using H2 database for our project, which is in-memory database. You no need to download and install any database server. You don't need to download and install any database server. A temporary database we are going to use for our practice. So first one, DB table. So how many DB tables are required for this application development? Just we need to store the data and we need to retrieve the user data. So one database table is sufficient for this application. One database table is sufficient for this application. The DB table name, I'm giving it as user accounts. The DB table name I'm taking as user accounts. In this DB table, what are the columns we need? Full name, email ID, mobile number, gender, date of birth, and SSN. So for that, user ID, that will be a primary key. User ID, that will be a number type. Data type is number, and that we are representing as a primary key. That is representing as a primary key. And a name is available, that is full name. User full name will be available. So full name, that is a varchar type. And similarly, email is available, that is also varchar type. Then mobile number is available. We can call it as a phone number, that is also number type. Then gender is available, that is varchar type. Gender is available, which is varchar type. Date of birth is available, which is date type. Date of birth, which is the date type. And SSN is available, which is number type. So these are the fields that are available from the UI. From the UI, we don't get the user ID. So end user will fill name, email ID, mobile number, and gender. Okay, date of birth and SSN. But for every table, we have to maintain a primary key. For that, we are using user ID. User ID, we are getting as a primary key. We are going to generate that primary key value. So this full name, email ID, phone number, gender, date of birth, SSN will come from the database. User ID we need to generate by using generator. Along with this, we need to maintain which record is active and which record is inactive. Which record is active and which record is inactive, that we have to maintain. So that's why we need to take one more column in the database called active switch. We need to take one more column in the database, which is called active switch, that we are going to specify either char data type or varchar data type you can specify. Active switch. Active switch column is used to maintain soft delete functionality. It is used to implement soft delete functionality. So here if you observe, hard delete is available and soft delete is available. So when we go for hard delete, the record will be deleted permanently from the database table. Record will be deleted permanently from the database table. Soft delete means record should be available, but it should be activated or inactivated. To do that operation, we are taking one extra column called active switch. Along with this, for every record, we need to mention when that record got created, and when that record got updated. I can maintain timestamp, created date, and update date. So when the record is created, when the record is updated, we need to maintain that information for analysis. So when the record is created in the database, when the record is updated in the database, that information, that create date and update date columns also we have to maintain. So in order to develop this application, we need a table with these columns. Now you can check it. Your table analysis is matching with my table analysis. Your table analysis is matching with my table analysis. Is there any difference? Is there any gap? You compare now. You compare now. So now you understand. If I directly explain my analysis, will you understand what mistake you are doing? If I don't give the chance, for you to analyze, if I explain directly my analysis, you will just listen that. You will feel, okay, that's it now. It is easy. But when you do the analysis, you are doing some mistakes. When I do the analysis, I'm doing with my experience. Then you compare your analysis and my analysis. Some people missed active switch column. Some people missed created date, update date columns. Here, people will do the mistakes. These things you need to implement for this requirement, because we are going to implement soft delete functionality. To implement a soft delete functionality, we need to maintain one extra column, active switch. For this active switch, some people can take int as a data type, number as a data type, 0 means inactive, 1 means active. Some people can take char as a data type. So y means active, n means inactive. Some people can take boolean as a data type. True means active, false means inactive. Some people can take varchar, yes means active, no means inactive. So the data type can be anything. It's up to you which data type that you want to use for that. Clear, guys? Now, so in the UI screen, DOB not available. In the UI screen, DOB is available, right? Mr. Krishna, in the UI, DOB is available. So for that, we need to take one column. From the UI, active switch will not be there. But if you look at the view users, soft delete. In order to implement that soft delete, definitely we need to take one extra column, active switch. Active switch Y means it is active record. Active switch N means it is inactive record. And from the database side, always we need to analyze the data when it is inserted, when it is updated. So people, your team lead will not tell you, you need to take created date, updated date. It is common in the real time. Every database table will have created date and updated date columns. So this is our DB table design. User ID. For every table, one primary key is required. I'm taking user ID as a primary key. It will be auto-generated. And name, email, phone number, gender, date of birth, SSN. These fields are directly coming from the UI. We need to capture the data from the UI to store into the database table. Then active switch column. It is used to perform soft delete operations in the project. Created date and updated date. These are used to monitor the data when it is inserted, when it is updated. Are you guys clear with the design? If anybody has done the mistake, please correct it. Now you understood what mistake you have done. Next time, you should not repeat that mistake. Okay. The next one is Java classes with required methods. So Java classes, what are the Java classes that are required for our application? Java components. What are the Java components that are required to develop this application? So the first one, we need to create user account.java. So this class we are using as entity and binding. We are using this class as entity class and binding class. So we need to map our Java class with the database table, and we need to take the data from the form. So for that, we are using user account.java. This is, we are going to use as an entity class and binding class to communicate with the database table by using data JPA. To communicate with the database table using data JPA, we are going to use user account.java. Entity means mapped with the database table. Binding class means which is used to capture form data. End user will submit the data in the form and will click on submit button. So we need to capture the form data. We need to store in the object. For that, we are taking one binding class. That class I am using for DB mapping also. Then next one, user account repository.java. So to perform the database operations by using data JPA, we need one repository, user account repo.java. So this is going to be interface. User account.java, this is a class for us. Okay, account.java is a class which is used to map with the database table and to capture form data. And user account repository.java, this is an interface. It is an interface which is used to communicate with the database table. In the DAO layer, when you go for data JPA, we are going to create repository concept. Okay, so this repository is used to communicate with the database table by using JPA repositories. Fine. One is entity, another one is repository, and third one, we are going to take user service.java. That is going to be our interface. So service layer will be available to write our business logic. The service layer will be available to write the business logic. And we are going to take user service impl.java. User service.java, that is a interface. Service impl.java, that is a class. Okay. User account.java, that is one entity class which is used for DB mapping as well as for form data binding. And user account repository.java, it is a repository layer, persistent layer concept to communicate with the database table. And we are having user service.java, which contains the business logic. Okay. Now, to implement that service, one service impl.java class we are going to create. And the next one, we are going to create one controller to handle the request and response, which is user controller.java. We are going to create that as a class. We are going to create that as a class, user controller.java. User controller.java will contain the methods to handle the request and response. So whatever the request is coming, save, submit record, submit request, edit, delete, activate, inactivate, view the users. So several operations we need to implement. To implement those operations, we are going to take one controller. Controller nothing but it is a web layer component which contains the methods to handle request and response. Then service layer, it will contain business logic, service interface and service IMPL classes will be available. Then for the DAO, one entity class and one repository will be available. Entity means which is mapped with the database table. Same class I'm using for form binding. Same thing I'm using for form binding. And coming to UI components. So in the UI, we need to create two pages. One is used to load the form. Another one is used to display the form. So in the UI, I'm going to take one index.html and I'm going to take another view users.html. Okay, view users.html. That's it. So for the UI, 2 pages are sufficient. One page is used to display the form to enter the data. Another page is used to display the users available in the table. When I click on edit, it will go to the same page to display the record in the editable mode. And delete, activate, deactivate will happen on the same screen. So in the back end, these are the Java classes required. In the front end, these are the HTML pages are required. In the database, one table is required, DB table. So DB table, that is user accounts. Coming to Java components analysis, one binding class and entity, one repository to communicate with the database, service interface, for that service IMPL, one controller class we are going to take to write the methods to handle request and response. Coming to the UI components, index.html file, which is used to display user account form, empty form. When view users.html, that is used to display the data. When I click on the edit, it will go to the previous page only to display the data in the editable mode. Are you guys able to analyze the Java classes? Which class, which interface we need to take? Is your analysis matching? Guys, is your analysis matching with my analysis? All right. Then coming to the methods. In the repository, we no need to write any methods as of now, because JPA repository will provide predefined methods to perform all the CRUD operations. So you don't need to write any methods for the repository. Coming to the service layer, we need to write some methods in the service layer. So what are the methods that we are going to do in the service interface? Now you see in the service interface, the first method, public string, save or update user. Okay, for that we are taking user account object as a parameter. This is the first method that we need to write to save the user. So here, saving the user, updating the user will happen from the same page. So first time, let me open the application also. Let me go for the project. So add user account is available, right? Create account. So there is a submit button. So whenever you click on the submit button, that record we need to insert in the database table, and same functionality, view accounts, here edit option. When you click on edit, same page will be loaded. There you can update that record. Got it? So here I'm writing one method called public string save or update user account. So it is used to save the user as well as it is used to update the user. Okay. If user record is new, then it is going to save the user in the database. If user record is already existing, then it is going to update the user. For this method, if you observe, I'm taking return type as a string and I'm taking parameter as a user account object. The reason, when user account is submitted, that form data will come into the binding object. That binding object I'm giving to the service layer. Then it is going to give it to the repository to insert the record in the database. From end user will fill the data in the UI, will click on submit. When he click on submit, it will come to the controller to service to the repository to the database. In the repository, we no need to write any methods, guys, because it is a JPA repository. Ready-made methods will be available in the JPA repository to perform operations. Ready-made methods will be available in the JPA repository to perform the operation. So we no need to write any method in the JPA repository. So directly I'm starting my methods in the service layer. In the service layer, I'm taking one method to save the user as well as to update the user. This is the method which is used to save and update the user. Then next one, I'm taking one more method which is responsible to display all the users available in the database. So to get all the users from the database, I'm going to take a method public list of user account, public list of user account, get all user accounts. Get all user accounts. For this method, I'm not taking any parameter. Why? Because so just to use, we will click on this button, view accounts. When we click on this button, no need to pass any input for that. We just need to get all the records available in the table and display in the UI page. So that's why I'm writing one method which is returning list of objects, because in the database, more than one user can be available. So to represent more than one user, we are taking the return type as list of user. You may get a confusion. Sir, for the first method, you are taking string as a return type. For the second method, you are taking list as a return type. Why? For the first method, once the record is inserted or updated, we need to send a success message to the UI. So that's why I'm taking string as a return type. In the second method, no success message. Whenever user click on the view accounts, I need to retrieve the records from the database. I need to display in the UI. So that's why method return type I'm taking as list of user accounts. Are you clear? First method is used to save or update the user account. Second method is used to retrieve all the user accounts which are available in the table. All the user accounts which are available in the table. Are you able to follow this? First method is used to save one user based on the given user data in the form of object. Second method is used to retrieve all the users which are available in the database table. All the records which are available in the database table. Are you clear? Are you clear with this? Yes. Next one. Next one. Third method. I'm going to take the third method for edit functionality. So now user save related functionality method is available. Save or update the user account. And to get all the users, one method is available. Now, once users are displayed, I want to edit and update the user. So when I click on edit functionality, so for which user we are doing edit. When I click on the edit, that particular user data should come into editable mode. That means for which user you click on the edit icon, that user record I need to get from the database and I need to display in the UI. So for this, we are going to write one method, public single user record. We are going to edit at a time. So get user account by using user ID. By using user ID. So for which user, you will click on the edit option. So that user we need to identify by using that user ID. With that user ID, we will fetch the record from the database and we will display to update that record. So to fetch that particular user record for edit functionality, I'm taking public user account, get user account data. Public user account, get user account data based on the user ID. So I'm taking the return type as a user account object. Parameter I'm taking as a user ID. Why? Because so whenever you click on edit, for which user you are clicking on the edit, that user ID I am passing to the backend. Based on that user ID, that complete user record data I am sending to the UI in the form of one object. So if you see, for every method, the signature is different. So this is signature you cannot butify. This is signature you need to write based on the requirement. This signature you need to write based on the requirement. For the first mini project, these are the methods we are writing. If you butify with these methods, can you develop another second mini project? No, because requirements are going to change. So these method signatures, identifying the method signatures is very important. Got it? So one method is used to take the form data in the form of object and save the data and return a success message. For that, I'm taking string as a return type, user account object as a parameter. And there is a second method, few accounts available. This method is not taking any input from the user. It will directly display all the users available in the database table. So list of objects, no input, only return type. The next one, get user account. For edit functionality, whenever you click on the edit, based on that user ID, we need to get the user data and we need to display in the UI. For that one method I have taken. For update, already one method is available to save and update. You no need to do that. Next one, delete. We need to delete user record. We need to delete the user record whenever we click on the delete icon. So the delete icon is a hard delete. That means we need to delete that record from the database table permanently. Once the record is deleted, and we need to send the latest records back to the UI. Okay, so for this, I'm going to write one method, public boolean, delete user account based on integer user ID. Okay, so now I'm taking a boolean. Once the record is deleted, true or false. True means record is deleted successfully. False means record is not deleted. So I am writing one method with boolean return type, delete user account. So delete user account based on the user ID. Which record you want to delete, you take that user ID and you delete that user record from the database table. Okay. Similarly, we need one method to activate and deactivate the user, soft delete. We have hard delete functionality to delete the record permanently from the database, and we have soft delete functionality to activate and deactivate the user. Okay. Now I'm going to write one method, public boolean, soft delete user or update user account status. Update user account status. So for that also, I'm going to take integer user ID, string status. Which status we need to update? Whether you are activating the record or whether you are deactivating the record. For which user, which status we need to update. So I'm taking two parameters for the method. One is user ID for which user. Another one is status, what status we need to update. So based on that, I'm going to return boolean. So status is updated or record is activated or record is inactivated based on true or false. True means operation success. False means operation failed. So in order to develop this application, we need to write these 5 methods in the service layer. How many of you able to identify these methods correctly? You check it. Your analysis and my analysis. You check it. Your analysis and my analysis. Is it matching or any? Is it matching? Can you see any difference? Guys, any difference you have observed? Come on, guys. Why I am taking 2 parameters for the method? So 2 parameters for the method because for some users you will use activate option. For some users you will use the deactivate option. I want to activate one user and I want to deactivate another user. So for which user, which operation? That is the reason this method is having 2 parameters. integer user ID is the first parameter, string status is the second parameter. User ID will represent for which user we want to update the status and what status you want to update. That means you want to activate the user or you want to deactivate the user. That's why I'm taking two parameters. Come on, guys. Are you clear with this? One method is used to save the user, or it is, I mean, we can use this method to update the user also. Okay. Then second method, which is used to get all user accounts. Third method is used to get particular user based on the ID for edit functionality. Delete user based on the ID, we are going to delete one user. And update user account status, it is used to activate or inactivate the user. For activate and inactivate, I'm using single method. Based on the status, I can activate or I can inactivate my user account based on that particular user ID. Now, all these methods are just abstract methods in the service interface. And these methods we have to implement in the service IMPL class. These are just abstract methods. These methods we need to implement in our IMPL class. Then coming to the controller. So what are the methods we need to write in the controller? In the controller, first we need to write one method, public string index method, which is used to display, empty form. Public string index method, which is used to display empty form. That means whenever you access our application, this empty page should be displayed. To display empty page in our application, we are writing one index method in the controller. And we need one more method, which is used to handle submit button, which is used to handle user account creation. All right. Now, public string handle submit button. So it is going to take user account object as a parameter, which is a form binding object. And to send the response back to the UI, we are using model object. So the first method is used to load the index page with the empty form. Second method will be used to handle the form submission. Okay. So it is used to handle the form submission. Whenever the form is submitted, this method will take the form data in the form of object and it will call the service and it will return model and view for the presentation display. Then we need one method to display all the users. So I'm going to take one method, public string view users. So to send the users back to the UI, I'm taking model object as a parameter. Public string index model is used to send the data from controller to UI. So in the first method, I will send empty binding object to map the object to the form. In the second method, we are taking the form data in the form of object and we will return success or failure message back to the UI by using model. Third method, which is used to retrieve all the users and send the users to the UI by using model object. Method return types are strings. String nothing but view page name it is going to return. Then one method, public string edit user. Okay, so we are going to write one method to edit the user. When you click on the edit button, this method will be called based on the user ID. We are going to get that now. So we are going to get integer user ID as a method parameter. Based on the user ID, we will retrieve the user record. That user record we will send to the UI by using model object. First method is used to load the empty form called create account. Second method is used to display all the users, right, and handle the submit. First method to load the form. Second method to handle the form submission. Third method to display the users. Fourth method is used to edit the user. And fifth method, public string delete user based on user ID. Public string delete user based on the user ID. And we are going to use model object to send the response back to the UI. Public string delete user, integer user ID and a model object to send the response to the UI. And next one, public string change count status, activate or inactivate. So what is the user which you want to update and what is the status that you want to update? So here in the controller, we are writing 6 methods. One method is used to load the form. One method is used to handle the form submission to update and to create and update the user. One method is used to retrieve all the users and display in the table format in the UI. One method is used to edit the user. One method is used to delete the user. One method is used to activate or deactivate the users. For all the methods, string is the return type. That string represents view page name. In the controller, we need to write these methods. In the controller, we need to use these methods. Are you clear? Are you guys able to understand? Now you check it from the database side, from Java classes and Java methods, your analysis and my analysis, comparison. If I directly explain this analysis without giving the opportunity for you to think, you will feel array analysis is very easy. Coding is very easy because faculty will do everything in the class. But in the company, you have to do this planning. You have to do this design on your own. Then you have to start the coding for that. If you don't do the analysis before my explanation, then you will not get good content. You will not become good programmer. First, you need to try. Now, I'm not expecting that everybody will do 100% correct, but at least 70 to 80% analysis will match. Remaining 20 to 30%, slowly you need to improve. Overnight, I did not become a good programmer. Overnight, I did not become a trainer. I spent 10 years in the company as a Java developer. I struggled 10 years to learn this subject. Okay, so you don't think that, hey, I have done incorrect analysis. Ashok Sari has done the correct analysis. What Ashok Sari is eating, why he is able to do good analysis, why I am not able to do. The difference is experience. I spent 10 years in the industry. I worked with several projects. I worked with several requirements. So because of that experience only, I'm able to do the analysis within 10 minutes of time or within 15 minutes of time. For you, this is first time. You are understanding the requirement. You are analyzing the requirement. Maybe you will do some mistakes. No problem. We have to learn from those mistakes. We should not repeat those mistakes in the upcoming projects. That is called learning. Project means you have to do and you have to learn. Now you got some clarity how to analyze the requirement, how to design the requirement. Now you tell me, for the Java developers, coding is difficult or analysis is difficult. Now if I give this analysis, coding anybody can do. Even fresher also can do the coding. But analyzing the requirement, analyzing the tables, analyzing the classes, analyzing the methods, method signatures, that means method parameters, method return types, that is difficult. Coding is not difficult. Analysis is difficult. So most of the people, even after completing the Java course for 6 months or 7 months of time, they don't have the confidence to attend the interviews. The reason is they don't know from where they need to start the development. They don't know how to do the coding on their own. Because in the training, faculty will be there. Faculty will explain everything. Faculty will give the examples workspace for you. You will run that, output will come. But you will not be able to do the things on your own. That's why most of the people will feel coding is difficult. We don't have confidence to attend the interview. But if you follow this approach, after developing 3 to 4 projects, your confidence levels will increase, your thought process will change. You can attend the interviews on your own and you can crack the interviews. And not only cracking the interview, you can survive in the job also as a independent programmer. You can do your work on your own once you follow these practices. So first, we have analyzed the requirement. Then we have designed database tables. Then we have designed Java classes with required methods. Now, so with this analysis, can we start our coding? With this analysis, can we start our coding part? Yes, we know what classes we need to create, what methods we need to create. Then we just need to create the project and we need to implement those methods. So what is the conclusion for the today's session? What you learnt in the today's session, guys? What you learnt in the today's session? Is there any learning from the today's session? 1.5 hours we spent in the class. What you learned from this session? How to analyze the requirement. How to identify the components. How to start our project development part. Did I do any coding in the today's class? I did not open my Eclipse also. I have just taken my FDD document, my requirement document. Based on the screens available, I have started analyzing my requirement. I need to implement one application, very small application, which is having only 2 pages. One is used to save the user. Another one is used to display the users. Okay. In order to implement this requirement, we need one table in the database. What is the table name and what are the columns in the table? We have taken that. Okay. And then after, in order to do the coding, we need to create the Java classes. How many Java classes we need to create? What names we need to give for the classes? What interfaces we need to take? What classes we need to take? Then after I have analyzed in the Java classes, what are the methods we need to write and when to take parameter for the method, when to take return type for the method, what parameters, what return types in the service class methods, and what parameters, what return types for the controller methods, how many presentation files required for the project. I have just identified and I have documented them in the notepad. Now we need to create the project in the Eclipse and we need to create all these components in the project and we need to start the coding. So coding we are going to do in the tomorrow session. So before coming to tomorrow session, I want you people to create a project in the Eclipse or IntelliJ or STS. Create all the Java classes with required methods. You no need to do any implementation part, just you create the skeleton. So tomorrow, if you have time, you can try implementing these methods also. First, I will give the chance for you to implement, then I will do my implementation. Same process. You can compare your coding and my coding, then you will feel the difference. From that, you have to learn. So today's task for you people, today's task for you people, create project structure, create required packages in the project. Okay, create Java components, with required methods, create Java components with required variables and methods, implement service class methods. I want you to create the project structure and I want you to create the required packages in the project and create the Java classes, whatever the classes we have identified. I want you to create those classes in the IDE. For the entity class, some variables are required. For the service and controller, some methods are required. So then start implementing service class methods. Tomorrow I will do the same thing in the class. Before coming to the class, I want you to try this. Today's task 01 mini project. So analysis part is completed. Now we need to start the coding part. In order to do the coding, first we need to create the project and required classes. In the tomorrow session, we will implement the service layer methods. Can you guys do this? Can you guys do this before coming to tomorrow? Yes, please try. At least give it a try. Anyhow, I'm going to explain. So as I told you, if you don't try, if you directly listen to my explanation, you will not learn. First you try, then you will understand where is the complexity, where you are getting doubts, where you are getting stuck. Then when I'm explaining, you can give more attention so that you will understand how I am doing that. So this is the today's task for all of you in the JTRP batch. Tomorrow, we will work on coding part in our first mini project. Good. Fine, guys. With this, I'm done for today. Anybody having any questions? You can raise your hand in the Zoom so that you can ask. For this application, can we use Postman? No, guys, because we are using HTML for the presentation. Na? When you are developing a REST API, then you can use Postman for the testing. For this application, we are using HTML pages, presentation tile. All good. Now, I'm going to upload this document. I'm going to upload this document in the portal. It is related to our mini project, 01 mini project running notes. So please go through that. So if anyone is not doing any analysis, then you can copy paste this code. You are going to be the loser if you copy paste my analysis. Okay, first you try, then you compare. Then you will know what mistakes you are doing. If you directly take my analysis, no benefit. So this is the today's task. I'm going to upload this in the portal. So please work on this task before coming to tomorrow's session, guys. If you don't do this assignment right, then no use. So please take it seriously and work on the assignment. Yes, I have updated the notes in the website. You guys can access that notes. Good. Now, anybody having any questions, you can unmute your mic. You can raise your hand in the Zoom so that I will give the option to unmute your mic and you can ask your questions. Okay. Yeah. Suhil, what is your question?
Hello, sir. Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Sir, while submitting the form, we don't get the active status, right? Then how does the data will be inserted in the database table,
We need
sir?
to set it, sir. So that active status will not come from the UI. So as a programmer, we need to set that status active first time when the record is getting inserted. Manually, you need to set the data before inserting the record into database table.
Which means like we should create the database table first manually. We should not write DDL update that because that we should
correct.
Okay. And one more thing, sir. And once can you open the controller user controller? Yeah. So in the second one, public string handle submit button, we need to use modal attribute as well, right? Because we need to send back
that annotation we can write it, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And the sixth one, sir. This integer ID as we will get from the UI. Okay. Correct. What about the status, sir? We need to set manually.
Status also will get from the UI only.
Okay. Thank you.
Next one, Rohit. What is your question?
Yes, sir. Can we implement some exception handling in this project?
We will implement, sir. First, the basic coding is completed, then logging and exception handling we will implement.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Security also we will add. Sachin, what is your question?
Sir, in service IMPL class,
Yep.
sir, we have one common method for save or update user account.
Yes.
So, sir, in this method, sir, if we click on that, sir, and fill the user details. So, sir, how it will use for both operation save and update?
Yeah, we will see that implementation. But you try that. I will explain
Sir,
you how we will do that.
Yes. Yes, sir. Method number 3 will be private because we will use for this for update operation.
No, sir. These all are the service methods, public methods, because these methods we are going to access from the controller. So these methods will be public only. Service methods will be called by the controller. That's why I have given every method as a public.
So, sir, method number 3 will be used in method number 1 or
no?
Yes.
No. Sivateja, what is your question?
Yeah, sir. Can you show the controller? Yeah. Do we require these many methods? Actually, we can get one get mapping and put post mapping, and from the get mapping method, actually, is it required for the first method to display the form, the model and model? Because
without this method, how you will load the landing page?
Actually, localhost 4200 will automatically load the landing page.
That is Angular. This is Spring Boot.
Okay, if we use the Angular, then these many methods are not required, right, sir?
If you go for Angular, then this method is not required. The remaining methods are required.
Okay, okay.
Only the first method can be ignored when you are developing UI by using Angular. But today we are not using UI Angular, right? We are using time-based.
Yeah. And the service class implementation, interface, is it required, sir? Can't we
That
write
is
directly
best.
in the class?
That is a best practice, sir. Always we are going to develop our classes with loosely coupling. So service interface and implementation will be available. Controller will talk to service layer.
Okay.
This is the best practice. You can directly do the class also without interface, but it's not recommended.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Partha Sarathi, your question?
Yeah, hello, sir. So I come to controller class.
Yeah.
So here you mentioned edit user. Here to edit the user, you need all the user detail now. Only you are passing user ID only. Then how is updated?
This is just for editing the user means. So whenever you go and click on edit button, that user record will come to the UI page. That's it. It is just to handle this click. When you click on edit, it will take the user record from the DB. It will send to the UI. Then after loading this page, again you will click on the update, right? That is another request. So whatever the edit user method is available, it is just to display the user data in the editable mode. That's it, not for update. You got my point? Yeah. Any other questions anyone having? You can unmute and you can ask me.
Sir, in real time, reflection API is used or not?
Sorry?
Sir, in real time, reflection API concept is used or
Reflection API concept, I will tell you when to use reflection API. In this project, we are not using.
okay, sir. In main project, we will use.
Yes, sir. I will tell you.
Ashok sir, Amrish here.
Yeah, hi, sir. Tell me.
So here actually we have to implement using Spring Boot application. So all these will be doing through API, and request will be sending from this HTML. Is it? We are not going to use any Postman or any client.
No, directly the request will be going from the HTML. That is what I have shown you, right? Here the screen will be available. You click on update, request will go and data will be stored. You click on view accounts, request will go.
Backend part will be. But backend part will be like Spring Boot with REST API.
Not REST API, it is just controller. It is just a MVC controller.
Okay, this is called MVC controller.
Sir, Sir, the
So
hello,
which stage
sir.
of the
Ashok
project,
sir, I'm audible.
Yeah, hi Akshay, what is your doubt?
Sir, the service layer methods and the controller method are little bit looks to be similar. So the control is mandatory, right, to communicate.
Yes, sir. You look at this architecture. In the real time, every application will be developed in the layered architecture.
So
Controller is responsible to handle the request and response. Service layer will contain the business logic. Repository layer will contain the database logic.
And Ashok sir, for the only about the one git command, I have a confusion. In my I am working for the project. I completed the coding that is wrong. So which command is used, sir? Git restore I can use to get my original branch, right?
Right. Git restore or git revert, you can do that.
Git revert. Okay. And git stash. If I want to save my current changes and look to the other branch, git stash, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Hi, sir.
Hello, Ashok sir.
Here user control, sir. In sixth method, change account status. We are not using model. That is not required, sir.
Yeah, you can use that also, sir. You can take it. If you want to send some success message, you can use that. You can specify.
Hello,
so
Ashok
which
sir.
stage of the project? So logging will be will analyze about logging.
Sorry?
Which stage of the project regarding logging and all that will be analyzing what type of logging we are to store out.
In this project login I have not given, sir. Just creating the user.
In real time, which stage of the project? The initialize
that we will discuss. In the second mini project, we will have login, registration, forgot password, everything will be there.
Hello, Ashok sir.
Hello, sir. We implement JWT tokens in that in backend.
In this project, nothing is there, sir. Just you see what is there in the document. That just we need to develop those two screens. In the major project, we will implement that JWT and all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Sir, for update page, you are going to use JavaScript.
JavaScript means
Means,
for update.
Yes, update
No,
page.
just click on edit and save the page, display the page and click on update. Record will be updated. That's it. Why? What is the purpose of JavaScript here? Not required.
Sir, while updating the page, the data are coming into the field. That's why I'm asking.
Not JavaScript, sir. It is a form binding concept.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, Ashok sir. This is Madhav. So, in the user controller, there is a 6-point, right?
Yes.
In the 6-point, we have in the UI, it is only 6 columns. Okay. So, where we can update the status?
That is what your analysis, Mr. In the database, there is a column active switch is there, na? So
yeah, column we can add in backend side while creating.
Whenever you click on this option button, right? For which user you are clicking on the button, that user ID and that status should go to the controller. We will do that implementation.
But first time it will be not there, right? When we are creating the user account first time.
We need to set the account status. Whenever the user record is creating, we need to set that status as active status by default.
Okay.
Sir, can we go with the approach of creating separate APIs for different functionalities?
We can do that. That is microservice architecture. We will do that in the major project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. So fine, good. How are you? Tell me.
Hello, Ashok sir. Sir, actually, I have a question on service interface.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, actually here first save or update user account is there. So return type is actually string. So what happens if we take as an integer? And the fourth one also delete user account.
Sir,
so
return type you can
y...
return type you can take as integer also. The return type just to understand what operation that method has done, whether it is success or failure. If you take string, you can return the message directly. If you take boolean, you can return true or false value. Anything is fine.
Got it. Yeah, thanks.
Fine, guys. Good, thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. So please go through the notes which I have uploaded, compare your analysis and do the coding part. Start your coding part further. project today. Tomorrow, I will work on the coding part. Before I'm going to start the coding, I want you people to try this. Thank you. We'll see you in the tomorrow session. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.